Hey, everybody. Hold on, I don't like this lighting. Ugh, let's see. There we go, much better. Okay, we are live on TikTok and on Instagram. Today, we are going to be discussing how to use writing to bring clarity to your business. And then I am going to take you on an intuitive writing journey, if you will. I'm going to show you how to do it. I am going to do it with you, and then I'm going to teach you how to pick it apart afterwards. Okay, so we're gonna tackle all that today. I don't anticipate it being very long. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Nikki. I am an intuition and business vision coach. So I guide women entrepreneurs to lead their business with their intuition so that they can make strong decisions from within about their business. So for the sake of time, let's get right into it. So using writing for business clarity. What is that? What does that mean? Can I add? I'm always doing something like, oh, can I add this to it? No, I don't want to do that. Okay, psych, just kidding. Who says psych? Nobody says psych anymore. Okay, anyways, using writing for business clarity. So last week we talked about flow, right? And I had talked about how writing is a part of the action. So with writing being a part of the action in flow, if you remember, the idea was you receive the idea, you receive the download, and then after you receive the download, let me see, I got it written down. After you receive your idea or your download right here, in your flow. So you have the idea coming to me in the arrow, right? So you receive it. Then you write a plan. That's your first action, is to write. After writing, your next one is implementation. You implement, right? You go and you do the thing. So where does writing count as an action? Why is writing the action that comes next? Writing comes next because now, I thought I heard my children. Now that you have the idea, now that you receive the download, when you write, step one to bring clarity to it is to turn the idea into a plan, right? So let's say you receive an idea and you're like, you know what, I'm going to start doing lives for my business, or I have this great content idea or this content strategy that I want to implement, right? Well, when you have the idea as a download, they're thoughts within the mind, right? You receive them, and then they're just thoughts kind of wandering around. They're still in here. They haven't been put out. So when you take the first step and you write, let's say you want to do the lives, right? Well, now you take your pen and you go and you write out your plan. You write out your plan to go live. Maybe you write out the outlines of what the lives are going to look like. Okay. You write out content ideas. If you're like, I have this great new content strategy, you take your pen and you go and you write. So what that does is that puts the thoughts into words. When you take the thoughts and you put them into words strategically, you have to make sense of them, right? So instead of the thoughts and the ideas floating around in your brain, you take your pen, you put them to paper. Now you formulate a plan. Now these thoughts all make sense. You get to make sense of them. You get to strategize with the pen, right? You get to take the first action on it. You write and you take that first action. Okay, whether it be for any idea, really. If you get an idea for a course, well, you're probably going to make a course outline first. That might look like writing, that might look like typing. It's still mind to hand to something, right? Putting it out there. So that is one of the ways that writing brings a lot of clarity to your business, so that you're not just floating around with a bunch of ideas, but you are actually taking an action on the idea. Putting those thoughts into words, putting the idea into a plan of action. So what is intuitive writing? Where does intuitive writing fit this narrative of bringing clarity to your business? If writing is an action, writing is a conscious action that we take. We write and we make sense of things. When we intuitively write, we don't write to make sense consciously. We write to make sense subconsciously. And what that looks like is bypassing the conscious mind. That doesn't look like structure. That doesn't look like a strategy, right? And so with intuitive writing, you take your pen and you write in what I like to call a free flow. So you write in a free flow state and you bring all of the thoughts out and put them onto paper. Okay, and as they come out onto paper, because we're not making sense of them, everything that's popcorning in the brain just gets to come out on paper. Everything that popcorns in the brain gets to come right out onto the paper. Now we bypass the conscious mind, we get into the subconscious mind, and then we get to make sense of what's running the show on the background. So the two differences, right? So using writing as an action consciously is taking your idea and formulating a plan, taking your pen, putting it on paper, and writing out a plan, whether that be the structure for your live, your business idea, a new course outline, whatever it is, right? That brings clarity to the conscious side of things, of the idea. But as we've talked about this week, even though the conscious has the idea, there's the subconscious that's still running the belief system, right? There's the subconscious beliefs that are actually running the show. So how do we get past the subconscious beliefs? It's the same thing. We still write. And so when we write intuitively, now, because we're not structuring it the way we did when we wrote out our plan, but we are just putting all of our thoughts and everything that comes up onto paper, then we get to make sense of the subconscious mind. We get to see what subconsciously is running beneath the surface, right? What's running the show. So those are primarily the two different ways that writing is going to bring clarity to your business. Writing up the plan and then intuitive writing. What I'm going to do is I am going to put on a little bit of music. I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes, and we are going to write on this writing prompt above my head, which actually, if you're on Instagram, you can't see it. So the writing prompt is, how do I want my business to run? Let me put that in this comments real quick. Intuitive writing prompt. How do I want my business to run? If I can pin that. I don't know how that works. Okay. So what you're going to do, oops, let me not knock the camera over. What you're going to do is you are going to grab a piece of paper, take your pen, and actually, let me put this in the comments too. Can I add a comment? Let me see something. Pull, draw, blah, 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 comment. Here we go. Writing. Take a piece of paper. Write out the writing prompt. Write everything that comes up without making sense. Freely. We'll just say that. Okay, let me put it over here. This is interesting. Let's see. Take a piece of paper. Write out the writing prompt. Oops, write out the writing prompt. Write everything that comes up freely. Okay. So, now that anybody who pops in will know what's going on, grab your notebook, find a blank page, and like I said, I'm gonna put some music on. Not like music that's gonna get me copyrighted, but like just music to relax to. So let's see. Take your pen. At the top of the page, I want you to write out, how do I want my business to run? How do I want my business to run? Okay. And so now that we have our question on the top of the page, I am going to set a 5-minute timer. If I can find my other phone. Hold up, y'all. I know I had it. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is, in front of my face. Okay. Oops. So I have my timer set. I don't know if you can see that. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And so set the intention before you do this writing exercise. Set the intention that you are here to bring clarity into your business. You are here to bring clarity into the way you want your business to operate, and you are setting the intention that you want to release anything that gets in the way of that operation. Okay, set that intention. Let me put on a little music. Let me start the timer, and we're gonna write for 5 minutes. That is an ad. Let me just make a comment. 5-minute writing. And make it here. 5-minute, minute writing. Okay, let me turn this up. I'm gonna hit start. Jesus. So right now we are writing on our writing prompt with the intention to bring clarity into the way we want our business to run and release anything that does not match that. Okay. Oops. So that was 5 minutes. And I'm not going to lie, I could have kept going. And you'll find that happens sometimes. The reason that I say push it at least to the 5 minute mark is because there's a point in time in your writing where you're going to notice when it's like conscious thought and then when it comes into subconscious thought, right? And you'll notice this because at least the way that I notice it is my brain starts working a lot faster than my hand, right? So like these thoughts just start pouring out and then I have to write to keep up. So my handwriting gets extra sloppy because now I'm trying to keep up with the subconscious like pour out, right? So that's when you know what's happening. It usually, what I've noticed is it happens a lot around the 3 minute mark. But the reason I used to say write for 3 to 5 minutes. And the reason that I'm not going to say to stop at 3 minutes is because if you're just now getting that clarity or getting that breakthrough right around 3 minutes, well, why would you stop that? You know what I mean? And arguably with what I was doing like for 5 minutes, that still wasn't long enough. Like I probably should have gone for like 7 minutes or 10 minutes, right? But again, for the sake of time, we're going to do 5 minutes. So I am going to read you mine. I'm going to read you mine. And the reason that I'm going to do that is so I can show you where you can pinpoint how this first writing can then turn into a second writing for more clarity or into a plan of action or something along those lines, right? So let's listen. I'm gonna read it. Like I said, the handwriting gets sloppy, so let me read it the best that I can. So how do I want to run my business? When I think of how I want my business to operate, I want to primarily make passive income or income from content. I desire to know that every post brings leads and sales and that every live brings the same. I want my business to impact thousands of women every single day and be life-changing for those who find me. I want my business to serve as a tool that awakens women to themselves and their purpose. My business is a place of spiritual teaching and growth. My business shares my story proudly and gives every woman a sense of faith. My business generates wealth for my family and myself. My business doesn't lack in teachings or consumers, and I don't see lack. I release anything that feels like lack. My business inspires through words, both written and recorded. My business brings transformation to everyone it touches. My business serves at a high level. My business is known on Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok, right? So if I took that and I was like, okay, cool. I know that I want my business to run primarily from passive income, from content, that I wanted to run and bring in transformations, and that I wanted to run, on Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok, right? As like the primary, well, you can have a primary 5, but like as the 5 platforms, okay? So we know that. I also know that it doesn't lack. My business, when I am operating my business, it doesn't lack. There's no lack of teachings and there's no lack of consumers, right? And that I don't see lack. Those are the key things, right? Those are the key things that I release. My business doesn't lack in teachings or consumers, and I do not see lack within my business. I also said I release anything that feels like lack. So if I wanted to turn this into a releasing like ritual, if you will, right? I could do another journal entry, and I could say something like, what feelings around lack do I need to release? Or where do I need to let go of lack? Or where am I seeing lack in my business, right? If let's say let's say this says I don't see lack. Oops, hold on. Let's say I'm saying, okay, I don't see lack. And then, I'm thinking like, well, that doesn't make sense. I didn't think that I saw lack, right? Then I could even turn that into like, okay, well, what lack is coming up, right? So like, where am I seeing lack? And then do a free flow writing around that and intuitive writing around that. So that's one of the ways that you can turn this into a releasing. Now, if I wanted to like look at it and I'm like, okay, primarily passive income or income from content. Let's say I wanted to be like, well, what type of content? Like what does that look like? Then I could do another follow-up writing. I could do one of two ways. If you wanted to get to the subconscious and actually like co-create with source and do this from your intuition, you would do an intuitive writing prompt, and you could say like, what does content in my business look like? What type of content does my audience desire to see? What type of content do I desire to create? Something along those lines, right? And you could free flow write. Actually, you should do that first. After you do that, you will see the content that you are meant to put out. You will see the content that you are supposed to be creating, right, for your business. And so once you see the content that you are supposed to be putting out and that you're supposed to be creating, well, then you can go in, and that's when you make your plan of action. So then that's when you take it and you make your action plan. And so that is where intuitive writing then turns into like a conscious writing, right? Like a plan of action style writing. Let's see. Where else? Every post brings in leads and sales. Every live brings the same. My business is a place of spiritual teaching and growth, right? So something like that could then go into like, okay, what type of spiritual teaching am I meant to teach, right? And then you take that and you do an intuitive writing on that one. Let me see. And yeah, that essentially that's what intuitive writing is, as you just witnessed for the last 5 minutes. So we were able to go in and do a full writing where we bring our subconscious thoughts to the front. And then once you do that, then as I said, let me grab my other notebook. As I said, then it is conscious writing that brings the plan, that makes you give the plan of action, right? That brings all of these thoughts. So now all of these these thoughts are now on paper, right? In the subconscious writing, right? And so then we will need to turn that into a plan and create an outline and come up with ideas and strategies and things like that. And so now we're taking all of the ideas that are written in the subconscious that we put onto paper, and we are putting them into consciousness, into a conscious writing session to create a plan or a strategy. Anywho, I hate to cut this short, but I do have some things that I have to go do. So that is it for today. If you want more on intuitive writing, you can head to my bio. There is a mini course called Intuitive Writing Mastery, where I guide you through the same type of process and give you journal prompts and things like that to help you really master intuitive writing. This one, we go to your future self, connect in the present, transform your history by going back to the past a little bit and doing some releasing, and then we unite all the versions of you. So that is something that I have in my bio. The other thing that you can grab is my business vision meditation and journaling guide. So inside of this meditation, you will figure out your business vision and what you are supposed to do and what you need to release to get there. And then there is also a journaling guide that goes along with it. So I will see you all. I'm going to try to come on live tomorrow. If not, I'm going to see everybody on Monday. Bye.